Hi, my name is Asia, and today I will be informing my classmates from Communication 101 about emotional intelligence in teenagers. This is my audience. So emotional intelligence usually begins right at birth. You come out of the womb and you can't really explain yourself verbally yet because you are an infant. So usually you do nonverbal cues such as you're crying because you're angry or upset or you're hungry. And then like when you're happy, you have a smile, you're giggling, and everything is just very positive. So emotional intelligence usually has either low, moderate, or high. And so usually teenagers are coming right out of low, but it's like very close to moderate, and mostly they are moderate emotional intelligence, and some are a selective few that have high emotional intelligence. So first, I like to talk about emotional intelligence in teenagers based on their environment and childhood. So what I mean by their childhood is just that you're coming right from, like before you are a teenager, there is tantrums and everything. So they're crying, they're not getting what they wanted, they want to do this, they want to do that, but they're continuously fighting with their parents and throwing a tantrum. Unlike a teenager, you would grow from that and you would verbally explain, oh, this is making me upset, or this is making me very angry, instead of throwing a tantrum as if you were a child. And like based on your environment, I would say it comes from a good or a bad environment. So what I mean by a good environment, you come from a place where they're very supportive, they're caring, they allow you to show your emotions and explain your emotions. Like crying is okay. It's okay to feel all of your emotions based on if you have like coming from a bad environment. It's just very tough love. You're not allowed to cry. It's like it's weird to cry. You're not supposed to show your emotions. You're supposed to keep everything bundled in. So according to Fedorenko, development of emotional intelligence begins in childhood, specifically in the family environment. Undoubtedly, that teenagers' maturity of emotional reaction, the skill to distinguish emotions and to manage them, is determined by features of family system and styles of parental upbringing. So next is the emotional intelligence in teenagers based on mental health. So mental health is very big, no matter what age you are or where you come from. So for teenagers, you really need to pay attention to your mental health, what's making you upset, what's making you happy, or anything like that. So basically, teenagers are trying to still figure out themselves personality-wise. They're just trying to see what they like, what they don't like. If they're constantly feeling down, always upset, not sure what to do, if they're feeling empty, it's kind of like depression. So it's usually depression comes from family, like the past family. You can get depression, there's schizophrenia, and many other disorders that come in results in family. And usually teens are very vulnerable when they are first becoming a teenager because of puberty, I would say. So puberty usually plays a big role because everything is changing. Their personality is changing, their body is changing, and it's just their emotions are all over the place because of all their hormones. So according to Sanchez, adolescence is considered to be a crucial stage in identity construction and the time when mental health is vulnerable. So next, emotional intelligence in teenagers based on their relationships. So what I mean by their relationships is just their friendships, their acquaintances, their significant other relationships, and their family, most importantly. So teenagers, as I said before, their personality is constantly changing, and that just plays a very big factor of who they are and what they want to be in their future. And usually, like I said before, like when they are a child, their emotions are very unstable because they're not really know how to use which words they want to use, how to express themselves. So they're still learning right from wrong. But when they're a teenager, they have a better perception of what's right, what's wrong, what to say, and what not to say. So according to Casellas, emotional intelligence plays a critical role in adolescence, since it involves change towards psychological, social, and sexual maturity, a stage in which foundations of intimate social relationships are established. And lastly, emotional intelligence in teenagers based on bullying. So bullying, I would say, is pretty much up there with mental health. It is very important to pay attention to this, especially when the teenagers are in school. And this also kind of pertains to a child as well. So bullying can happen anywhere at any time. So I would say it can usually happen at home. It can happen over social media, like cyberbullying. It can happen at school. But usually for teenagers, it happens over social media. There's a lot of cyberbullying going on, and it's usually just behind a camera, and it's just all fronts and everything like that. And usually bullying, they pick on a person that has very low self-esteem. They're not able to, like, what's it called? They don't have enough confidence in themselves. They can't stick up for themselves. They're just looking for ways out and they can't get out because the bullying is just constantly on them. So according to Mendez, bullying is negatively correlated with general self-efficacy, emotional intelligence, emotional empathy, and their cognitive components. Low management and emotional control were associated with high levels of victimization, and that understanding the emotions of others was negatively related with participation in bullying. Thank you for listening. This is my audience.